Is it better? Okay, good. I just realized that the microphone was off. See, that's a good thing that we have viewers. My dog is crying. I don't want to stay. So, on recommence. Alors, bonsoir et bienvenue à un autre épisode de The Vintage Kids. Welcome to a brand new episode of The Vintage Kids. So, this week, we are doing some Return of the Jedi stuff. Ce soir, nous allons parler du retour du Jedi. Pour mieux parler, c'est plus le retour du jeudi au Québec. You have to understand the Jedi actually is only one letter away from Wednesday. Wednesday? Monday, Tuesday? Yeah, Wednesday. Thursday! So Thursday in French is actually Jedi. Well, it's jeudi. There's a U after the E. Anyway, we're not here for this French lesson of or not. We are here to talk about Star Wars Episode 6. Just give me a second here. Hey, viens ici. Ici. Viens faire des dodos ici. Tu vas pas ailleurs. Tu restes dans le bureau. Viens. Okay, sorry about that. My dog is asking to go out. But, too late, man. Too late. On va tiens, dis bonjour au monde. Say hello to everyone. Hello. That's a big girl. She's not a little baby anymore. She is not. Okay. So, of course, we're going to do this as we did before for The Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope. Donc, on va faire ça pas mal de la même façon qu'on a fait pour les derniers épisodes pour A New Hope et l'Empire contre-attaque. Laissez-moi juste vérifier que tout est correct ici, oui. Tout est beau ici, oui. Ah, tout a l'air correct. Polo, good to see you. So, I have no idea how many people will show up. This episode, we will not go through the whole Return of the Jedi movie. On passera pas à travers de tout l'épisode 6 parce qu'il y en a ben trop long à dire puis à raconter. Donc, je m'attends à me rendre à peu près au Sarlac. We're not going to go through everything today because there's so much to talk about. And I will have, I have something to admit. Jim Arsenault is here. As a kid in 1993, donc en 1983, I was 9 years old. So, j'avais 9 ans lorsque Le Retour du Jedi est sorti et c'est lui que je me souviens très clairement d'être allé voir au cinéma. That's the one that I remember very, very clearly to see at the movies. And I'm going to tell a little about this. There's so much to talk about with Return of the Jedi, so I'm going to try to do my best to just keep it for an hour. Je vais faire de mon mieux pour en maximiser l'heure que nous avons, mais c'est sûr qu'il va y avoir un deuxième épisode qui va parler de Return of the Jedi. Il y a trop d'affaires à raconter. Et comme je vous dis, c'est mon film préféré de Star Wars. As a kid, and even as a grown-up, Return of the Jedi is probably my favorite movie, and I'm going to explain it why. And the way I'm going to do this is, of course, through the eyes of a kid that saw it when he was 9 years old. What's up, my friend? Greg Marshall is in the house, baby. Good to have you guys. It's always fun to have you around. So, so I'm going to explain it from a point of view of a kid that saw it when he was 9, expecting it as a kid because I was playing already with the toys. And I'm going also to explain it as a filmmaker, as someone who worked in this world for the last 30-something years. As I always do for TV series or whatever I go through. And it's fun today because now I can watch every movie that I saw as a kid and see it from a different point of view as with everything that I've learned, with what I've worked in, the stuff that I did, and um, anyway. So I hope you guys are going to like this. Of course, if you have comments, go ahead. Tell them, ask any questions. I'm going to do my best to follow all the comments. Of course, again, we are live on Yoda's Workshop Facebook page. We are live on YouTube's Yoda's Workshop YouTube page, and on my personal Facebook page. So I can see most of the comments. I'm not sure if I'm able to see the ones that people actually write down on my personal page because I'm not on Facebook right now. I'm on StreamYard. So I receive the stuff that StreamYard send me. So, and of course, there's a little lag. There's always a delay. But anyway, you guys, it's the 41st episode of the Vintage Kids. So if you are new, well, bienvenue. Welcome. Okay. Yes, I hope Greg is well. Well, Greg is always well. Take a look at these, a few of his pictures. He looks like an angel, man. Are you an angel? What? So yeah, he looks so calm, so happy. He's a happy guy. That's why we love him so much. And of course, come on, that name, it's worth at least a TV series, if not a trilogy movies. Greg Marshall Part 2, Chapter 4. She says, il y a quelque chose à faire avec ça. I'll pay for that. Just ask my wife. That's a good point. At least you didn't say like, don't just ask my girlfriends. Shh. Me, you only have to ask Kirk. Kirk knows everything about me. Well, almost. Okay. So my puppy just fell asleep. Everything's okay. So okay, let's start this. Before we start, of course, I'm gonna show you pictures of the stuff. I'm not able to show you sequences of the movie. Je peux juste vous montrer des images. Je devrais pas me faire shut it down. So, I'm trying something new with StreamYard today. You're gonna see the display is a little different as it used to be when I'm gonna show you pictures. If something goes wrong, just tell me in the comments and I'll fix it. No worries. There's no rush. We don't have to go through the whole movie today. Yeah, so that's it. Donc, s'il y a quelque chose qui bug, vous allez voir, j'utilise StreamYard et j'essaye des nouveaux features qui viennent de rajouter. Donc, si ça fuck, dites-moi-les dans les commentaires. Je vais essayer de l'arranger au fur et à mesure. I'm new to this. So, okay, so a little story about my side of Return of the Jedi. As I told you, I don't remember seeing episode 4 in the movies. I was only 3 years old in 1977. In 1981, I'm not sure. I don't remember seeing Empire Strikes Back at the movies. I remember seeing it on TV. But in 81, I was already playing with Star Wars toys, so I presume I saw it in the movie, but I was like, in 81, I was 6 years old, so perhaps I just don't remember. Donc, je ne me souviens pas d'avoir vu Empire ou bien New Hope au cinéma. Mais j'ai vu Retour du Jedi. I saw Return of the Jedi. So, as a kid, keep in mind that in 1982, 1983, there were no internet. So it was only what people would tell you that you would learn about the movie. Donc, dans ce temps-là, pas d'Internet, pas de réseaux sociaux. Tout ce qu'on savait, c'est ce que les amis disaient ou ce qu'ils avaient entendu parler, mais on ne savait pas si c'était vrai. T'sais. So it was like all rumors. We have no clue what would be in the movie. We only saw the trailer. On avait juste vu l'annonce probablement au cinéma because the only place we could actually see thrillers back in the days. I don't even think that they were showing thrillers on television back in those days. So anyway, I knew about one thing, and that's what I was really excited about as a kid when Return of the Jedi came out. Someone told me, or we knew, that Vader would took off his helmet and we would see his face. So for me as a kid, that was a huge thing. That was the part I was expecting the most. Donc, moi, je savais que Vader allait enlever son masque et c'était la partie qui était comme le plus énervant pour moi. C'était comme Vader's taking off his helmet. So I was freaking out about that. So what happened is, back in the days, there were not a lot of movie theaters around my place. I lived in Laval. Laval is the island next to Montreal, which Montreal is an island, by the way, if you guys didn't know. So there's two islands, in Montreal and Laval. And I was living in Laval. So there was one movie theater in Laval, and Return of the Jedi did not play right away in Laval. It was only available, I think it was in French. Perhaps it was available in Laval, but in English. But since we were going with my mom and my brother, that my mom's good in English, but my brother was not really good back then. So we saw it in French, and we went to Montreal with one of my friends, my mother, and my brother. And it was at the movie called Le Parisien, which is ironic because Le Parisien is like the guy from Paris or whatever, but it was in Montreal and it was in French. So that's a good point. C'est probablement pour ça que c'était en français. C'était au Parisien. Là, ça devait être là que tous les films en français devaient jouer. Je viens de penser à ça. C'est probablement pour ça qu'on est allé là-bas. And I remember arriving at that movie theater, and it was amazing because it was way much bigger than the theater that I used to go in Laval. So I was really impressed. Like the big stairs I would go up, and anyway, as a kid, it was huge. And it was the first time it was probably the first time that I went to see a movie elsewhere than the theater I was used to go back in the days. So I show up there, I watch the movie, and I remember the chat that we have coming out of the movie with my friend and my brother. Like, we were talking about the Ewoks, and of course, when Luke takes out his helmet, because it's actually not Vader that takes off his helmet. Aloha! Oh, it's Derek Cernak, ladies and gentlemen, our own Steven Spielberg. Let me know, Derek, if everything's okay with what I've sended you for, I guess, future video that you're doing. So good to have you aboard. A boot. What is it about? That's another thing that I don't understand. That people talk in French, well, in English, around Toronto and stuff. They don't say about. They say a boot. Why? I mean, what's the point? Anyway, it's great. Okay, good. If you need anything else, man, I'm here for you, you know. And trust me. And by the way, if I'm doing this right now, but I should write you something. I never said a boot. See? So let me see. See, Jim never said a boot. Well, you're not in Toronto. I think it's an Ontario thing, the a boot. I don't know. Anyway, Derek, If you need anything else, and if you New Brunswick, see, my family's in New Brunswick, by the way, and I think I've already told you they're all around Bathurst, uh, Beresford, Bathurst, Petit Rocher, and stuff. My family's there. My well, the side of my mom's there, and that's mostly the ones that I see once a year at least. Anyway, we'll talk about that another day. So, Derek, what I was saying is, next time if you ask me for something and I don't recall, please don't feel bad. Send me a reply on Messenger, and I'll do it. It's I again, I'm gonna one day I'm gonna talk about my medical condition that I learned and I have to live with since 2018 now. Yeah. So anyway, another thing. Would a shoe be a sneeze? A boot a sneeze? A sneeze a boot? What's a boot? That's a good point, man. I don't know, Greg. Anyway, so Derek, uh, send me PM. Send me like Phil. Have you forgot to send me what I ask? And I'm gonna do it. You know it, man. I want to help out. Okay, so we went to see Return of the Jedi in Montreal. It was great, and of course, I freaked out with the toys and stuff. And now that I'm older, maintenant que je suis plus vieux, I can analyze better the fact why I think I preferred Return of the Jedi. Uh, n- Even if Empire is a masterpiece, you have to admit that Return of the Jedi is also a kind of a masterpiece. I know that people just don't like the Ewoks. A shoe, a shoe. Man, we're gonna need some subtitles. A shoe. Yeah. So what I was saying is, you have to admit, and I'm gonna explain this with Return of the Jedi. This movie is almost a perfect movie. Some people say that Back to the Future is a perfect movie from a script point of view, from a theatrical um, essay production point of view. There's no uh, there's always something going on. A lot of people also say that um, Raiders of the Lost Ark is also a perfect movie. And when we say a perfect movie, it's not, oh wow, it's a great movie. No, it's a perfect movie the way it's presented. So there's no like long parts like when you okay, what's going on now? You have this in a lot of TV series nowadays. I'm listening to the Walking Dead. Okay, I decided to watch Walking Dead, and I'm at season 6, and it's a great series, but great TV series, but it's far from being a perfect script and perfect. Of course, you cannot compare a movie to a TV series, but what I'm saying is that there's no part in the movie that it's like, okay, now what's going on? Okay, uh huh. Can we move on? There's a lot of this in The Walking Dead. Like when people are talking together for 15 minutes and all they are saying is the same thing, but like in a different way, but it doesn't bring anything new to the table. So that's what I mean. Anyway, so a lot of people say that Empire's a perfect movie. Yeah, Empire's a perfect movie. Back to the Future, Raiders of the Lost Ark, but from a production package presentation thing. Anyway, okay, so let's start with the pictures. I probably forgot stuff, but I've been talking for even almost half an hour. So let's do this. Again, I'm going to try to show you guys a new layout. Woo, I'm right here. And if I add pictures, there it is. I hope the sound will be okay. But I'm here instead of being over there. Oh, that's Kirk. See? That's my friend Kirk back there. Okay. So, of course, believe it or not, most of you already know this, but if some of you guys don't know, Return of the Jedi was actually called Revenge of the Jedi, and it was supposed to be that name. And I think they did a thriller with Revenge of the Jedi, and they did, of course, a poster, and they also did some toys. So the reason why it's not called Revenge of the Jedi, it's because Lucas realized that Jedi would not take revenge. This is not something that Jedi would do. So it's more of a dark side thing, like a Sith thing, and that's the reason why we have Revenge of the Sith for episode 3. So of course there are stuff that is available with the logo of Revenge, and of course we have this. That's the logo that was supposed to be used, and there are toys with Revenge of the Jedi on it, because on some of the toys that were produced at the end, well, the last waves of Empire Strikes Back figures, there was, of course, this mail away thing that they did. You could get Akbar by mail. If you are interested in card backs, go check one of the first Vintage Kids I did was on the card backs, I think. And I talk about all the mail away stuff. Anyway, so there's actually some pretty hard to find card backs, toys you would purchase. Il y avait des jouets qui ont été produits par Kenner et qui avaient reçu l'information que c'était Revenge of the Jedi. Donc, nous avons plusieurs items avec le logo de Revenge, mais on sait que ça n'a jamais eu lieu. Donc, ici aussi, on a le derrière de la carte, 48 backs, that you can actually see the free Admiral Akbar Revenge of the Jedi mail-away offer. A great episode on the card backs. Thank you, man. It was great doing that. That's the stuff I love to do, man. I'm gonna have to think about what's next. Should we do, like, I don't remember if I did the last 17 or should I do, I presented all the 92 figures loose, most of them that I presented you guys one by one. Okay. So that's for Revenge of the Jedi. That was, of course, replaced with Return of the Jedi. Love this poster. That's an amazing poster. That's the one that we used to have in most... oops, that's not what I wanted to do. There it is. So that's a great poster. Great details. Love the fact that Vader is on top of the chain, but it's interesting because you actually have like the father, the son, the step brother, and the sister there on the same poster. So that's one of the great poster that was made for that movie. But personally, my favorite one, it's this one. I love this shot. I don't know why, but it's so basic, but it's simple, but it's, I don't know, magical. There's something about that poster that I really, really enjoy. As a kid, my mother was kind enough to buy me the tape of Return of the Jedi audio tape. Donc, ma mère a été assez gentille, probablement parce que j'arrêtais pas de chialer. écœuré de m'entendre. Elle m'a acheté la cassette The Return of the Jedi, John Williams stuff, and I've listened to that tape over and over and over and over again. As a kid, and I've already told this in the past, but as a kid, as a very young kid, I've listened to Sesame Street songs and Passe-Partout over here in Quebec. But I didn't go to the teenage stuff right away. I've listened for at least 5 to 10 years, basically only John Williams and movie scores, movie soundtracks. And everything that I was able to put my hand to grab in stores with, all the movies, songs. I mean, Indiana Jones, Superman. Back in the days, it was like the late 70s, early 80s. Everything that came out of the movie that was like, I was about to say big band, but it's orchestra. I freaked out as a kid on orchestra, on John Williams stuff. And it took me a long time to appreciate songs with voices, with lyrics, because as a kid, I remember being able to imagine, create my own movies in my head with the music, create my personal scenarios like in Indiana Jones. I was in the movie, I was doing this with Indy or whatever. So it was, anyway. So it was really, really more emotional. C'était plus, je refilais bien plus les émotions dans la musique d'orchestre que les gens qui écoutaient de la petite musique de la radio. Là. Non, pas vraiment. As a kid, I loved some Elvis songs because Elvis died in 77 or 78, 77. And I remember as a kid, my father purchased a lot of LPs, and I've listened to a lot of Elvis, and I really loved his voice, but it was totally different from the music that from the emotions that I was able to get when I was listening to John Williams or other people that make so many great movie scores. Okay, so enough with the scores. So that's a great poster. Okay, here is a few reasons for me why Return of the Jedi is a very good movie. And it starts right away. It starts with the first shot. First up, they actually reuse the same beginning with the undershot of the Star Destroyer, but this time it's the opposite. Vader is not capturing someone with it. He's actually leaving it to go somewhere. But the shot is still amazing, and I feel like this shot is even more detailed. They took even more time to make sure that this Star Destroyer is incredibly detailed. And they knew that after episode 5, they had to do again some amazing job, because there's no like, episode 4 is good, is amazing. Episode 5 is like, wow, they did an amazing job for a second movie, and now it's a third one, and they have to do it. They have to do even better this time. So I think they started like, boom, we're bringing you back to that great feeling. No problem, man. No worry. Have a great night. Be safe, buddy. So they show you right away some great, amazing images. And of course, you have that Death Star. Like, oh, the Death Star is back. They're building it again. So that's a great, great shot to begin with. The details, again, again, the details, and to see the TIE fighter following the Imperial shuttle, and it was the first time we could actually see the Imperial shuttle. It was a new ship, and like I explained, I talked about it in a prior episode, in another episode. It was amazing. Well, it's amazing. It's an amazing ship, amazing design, and I don't know why, but I always thought that that ship was only used by like Vader or the Emperor. So I was surprised to see, like in the Mandalorian, and I think there's one also used in Kenobi that is not used by. It's also in Endor. They used that ship not only for Vader or the Emperor, so I was surprised. Anyway, so it starts right away in your face. You know what I mean? This shot is amazing. Uh, that's a great, great, great shot. Of course, that's a promotional picture. You're going to see many promotional stuff that I'm going to show you guys tonight. Of course, now I've talked about this last week. What I've said is I think that the entrance of Vader is better in Return of the Jedi than the one in Episode 4. And you're going to say, you're crazy, man. You have to understand, I'm not saying that the way they introduced us to Vader the first time was wrong. Oh, it's totally right. It's amazing. It's great. They did an amazing job. But now we know the character and the time and the quality and the angle, the music, what they did to present us that character again is filmed, is produced in a perfect way for me. I mean, you can feel him even more than you can actually feel him in Episode 4. You know this guy is not fooling around. Just the way he walks, the way he stands, and he's coming out with the steam. I mean, it's an amazing entrance. For me, it's probably one of the best entrance of a villain in any movie. And it's the second time that they are actually introducing him. Well, how is he introduced in Empire? I don't remember. But this shot, this whole sequence is amazing. And you know that the guy that's waiting for him down the shaft there, or down the not the stairs, but the ramp, he's freaking out. And I totally understand why he's freaking out. Anyway, okay. Next picture. That's an amazing shot. That's a promotional shot, but I love the fact that that's what the guy down the ramp would have in his face. If this fellow with all wearing black is pointing at your face and saying you're not doing a good job, you know what this guy is capable of. You don't want to choke to death. You want to go see your kids. Well, probably not sure the kids are actually living in the Death Star, but you know what I mean. You want to live another day. So this guy is incredibly scary, and I just love this shot. He's looking right through your soul, and he's pointing at your nose like, don't fuck with me, man. Don't you dare fuck with me. And you can totally believe that he's about to choke you, man. So, again, great picture. Look at this face. This guy's like, yeah, well, I'm doing my best, man. Don't I'm gonna do my best. So this whole scene, I really think it's amazing. And what I also love about this is that Vader is showing up without warning, and the place, the set, well, not the set, but the landing platform, if I can use that term, is actually nearly empty. There's no stormtroopers. There's not a lot of people. So, like, what the hell are you doing here, man? So they are taken by surprise by his arrival, and I love the contrast. I love the difference between when Palpatine shows up and Vader shows up. Like, oh shit, the big boss is here. And for Palpatine, they put up like a huge show. Like, okay, Hitler it's the room, so get everyone in line, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Next up. So after the amazing warning, you actually have these guys that are walking towards the Jabba's palace. So, like I was saying, you are like 5 minutes in the movie. You've got the scroll, you've got the ship, you've got Vader's not happy. The entrance is amazing, and whoop, you jump to the funny guys. But the thing is, they're heading somewhere that is very scary, and C-3PO is actually telling you about this. Like, man, Han Solo never came back from this place. I don't feel safe going there. And of course, as usual, when I'll be done with Return of the Jedi, we'll do an episode on the deleted scenes. There's actually a scene in between the shot of Vader's arrival and this shot where Luke is actually building his lightsaber, but we'll talk about it in another episode. I was really surprised for when I saw it for the first time, and I remember that I was surprised to see that R2D2 is actually making different sounds than the one we used to hear in episode 4 and episode 5 when he's talking with C-3PO heading to this Jabba's palace place. And also inside the palace, he's not making the same sounds that we are used to here. He's got like new sounds effect. And I was really like, ooh, R2's speaking differently in this movie. He's saying different words, if we can say that. By the way, I just realized that I'm only talking in English, but I have so much stuff to say. That I'm going to do my best to go through man, I don't know how many episodes we're going to have to do on Return of the Jedi, but there's so many stuff to talk about. Just a minute. We converted you. Yeah. No, well, it's funny, because, and I don't know why, but my English, I don't recall learning English. My family in New Brunswick is actually north of New Brunswick, and in Bathurst, and I might be wrong, but up there it's like 70% French, 30% English. So I don't know. It's like I've learned English at the same time that I've learned French. But I'm far from being, Acadian. I was not born there. I was born in Montreal. I'm far from being a bilingual, perfect English. I do tons of mistakes. But for me, I don't recall learning English. And I don't know if you understand what I mean. It's like, for me, I've always understood English. I've always talked in English. And I was surprised because as a kid, my brother was struggling with English, like really bad. And I was asking my mom, how come he doesn't understand. It's like, I don't get it, man. Anyway. Fait que désolé pour les amis au Québec qui écoutent ça. J'ai tellement d'affaires à dire. Quand je parle, des fois, je réalise même plus en quelle langue que je parle. Fait que c'est ça. Fait qu'on continue. Donc, on a C3PO R2D2 qui s'en va là-bas et j'étais surpris de voir que, que R2D2 avait des sons, des bouts de voix qui parlaient différemment, des sound effects qui n'étaient plus les mêmes qu'on était habitué d'entendre dans les deux premiers films. Next picture! Of course, this is something we're going to have to talk about during this whole Return of the Jedi analysis or overview. I don't know how you want to say this. But I'm going to show you guys some differences with what they did for the special edition. Some of the modification, some of the special edition parts are okay. Some are terrible, and I'll never understand why. I'll try to give you my point of view and the reason why I think they did it. But first shot, okay, I understand why they did it. It's like, okay, it's impressive. And the door is not very... Already the door looked huge on the regular release from 1983. But with the 2001, 11, I don't remember. Well, I think they changed it in 1997. Was it changed in 1997? I don't think so. The door perhaps only showed up in 2011 because they did the DVD release or the Blu-ray release. I don't remember, man. It's 12 years ago. I don't remember what I ate today. Okay. So of course that's one of the big difference that they did, and I think it's a good idea to show the scale of this huge palace that Jabba's living in. Okay, love this shot, and I'm gonna point something pretty cool. If you remember this shot when C3PO actually comes in, R2 is rolling right through the Gamorrean guards, but C3PO gets scared by a spider behind him, like a mechanical spider. And at first, we didn't know what the spider was, but there's actually an explanation nowadays. You know, everything's explained now in Star Wars. So I'm going to show you the toy of that spider. That's the toy. And it's actually a brain that is inside that jar or aquarium, or call it whatever you want. It's actually the monks that were the first people living in this palace. And the story goes that they tried to find, I don't know, the way. And they realized that the best thing they could do to being in contact with themselves or whatever is to get rid of their bodies. So they created these spiders and they put their brain inside that jar, and they are actually living for eternity as a spider. And I don't remember the name of the monks. I'm sorry, because you could go check it out on the internet. But the cool thing is they reused the spider in the Book of Boba Fett. And I'm going to show you a picture. There it is. So that's a shot that they used the spider in the Book of Boba Fett. So I love the fact that they recreated or reused this great idea of this bucket with the brain inside and the spider walking around the palace. and in some way, the palace is still theirs because they're still there. I don't know. I did not read everything that is supposed to be canon, but that's the story of that spider. And I love these kinds of stories that they put in these characters that you only see in the background for a second. So that's the story of the spider. They are actually monks that own the palace. They were the first, I think they built the palace, and they are the first owners of the place. Next picture. Oh, that's not supposed to be there. Okay. I'm going to show it again. Ooh, scary. We're going to talk about it in the next episode, not this one. Okay. I wanted to show you some of the cool creature that we actually see in Jabba's palace. When they did this, I always learn new things here. Ah, good, man. That's why I love to do this. I love to do this. I love to spread informations, and because I love to learn these things. Why? I don't know. I'm a geek. I don't know. Ugh, I eat these kinds of stuff. For me, it's fast food, man. It's like eating McDonald's. When I'm able to get some new information on little things, oh man, that's great. Um, okay, I'm gonna talk about something else later on. We only have 10 minutes left, guys. It's crazy. Oh man, next week I'm gonna try to do it faster, but there's so many stuff to talk about. So, this thing right there on the top, you don't really see it in the movie. We don't really see it a lot, but it actually exists as a toy. They did it on a sideshow set. I think it's called a creature. I used to have one. I sold it a few months ago. But this thing on the top, hanging on the walls with the huge thumb, it's a real thing. It was there. It was on the set. I love these details. And that's the reason why when I saw that picture, I said, "Oh, I'm gonna show this, man. That's amazing. Look at this creature. It's like a big slug thing." And like C3PO was watching, is like, "Ooh, it's huge." Anyway, so okay, I wanted to say something about this. Is what they did for the Jabba's palace sequence is Lucas wanted to do a better job, uh, like he wanted it to do for the cantina scene. Since the first cantina scene was like they ran out of money, and some of the creatures and costume were very bad, and he was really not satisfied with what he did. It was not what he wanted. He decided to do it again, to put a lot of money in the Jabba's scenes and palace with all these creatures. So that's the reason why there's so many creatures in this place, in this palace, that we don't really see during the movie if you're not watching at the right time, at the right spot. But good for us. There's the making of, and by the way, go check it out. Go check the Return of the Jedi making of. It's amazing. I remember as a kid, when I was going to rent some movies, uh, one of the tape that I've rented the most was probably the making of Return of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I think it was on the same tape, and I've rented this and I've watched it over and over and over again. I was amazed to see how they did this amazing movie. And by the way, there's also it's funny because uh, often when I start the Vintage Kids, I always say something at the beginning. I say, hello in TV land. That's actually a scene. It's Celestius Crumb that says this with a real voice. There's the puppeteer holding him and watching, well, looking at the camera and saying this, hello in TV land. And I don't know. It stuck with me. And now, 40 years later, I'm using it, and I'm always thinking about Celestius Crumb saying hello in TV land, and I'm saying it at the beginning of the Vintage Kids. Anyway, so there's a Easter egg for you if you guys didn't know. So I don't know if you people realize when I say this at the beginning, but it's actually Celestius Crumb that says this in the making of Return of the Jedi. Okay, let's move on with another picture. So, of course, I mean, what I was saying earlier is that that movie is well presented, it's well made, and it never really stops. There's always something going on. I'm not talking about a cliffhanger. I'm talking about there's always something new, something new, something new. Every scene, every place that the droids are going, every place where the camera is turning, there's always something interesting to watch. There's the images are always full. So this shot, of course, we've got a D8 that is burning the feet of a gong droid. And I just love the sound that this droids make when he gets his feet burned, like, no, no, no. And he screams, and C-3PO is like, Jesus, where am I? I just loved it. And it's cool that they brought back AD8 in the Book of Boba Fett. Love the fact that they reused the droids that were in this place. So, of course, we have EV9D9? EV9V9? I don't remember. Is it 9D9? Anyway, again, great character. If you guys watch The Mandalorian, you know that he is actually back as a bartender, and it's actually Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, that made the voice in the season 1 of Mandalorian. Love the fact that there's actually like an underground in this already horrible place. There's actually a basement that is worse, and like you just don't want to go inside Jabba's palace, first of all. But now you actually learn that there's an underground, or there's worse places inside that terrible place. Love, again, it's all detail. All detail. Yeah, correct. EV99. Thank you very much. I knew that it was AD8, but I was wondering, I knew it was EV9. I was wondering if it was 9V9 or 9D9. Anyway, so many information in that little big head of mine. So I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. My mom always told me, if all the information that you know about Star Wars and The Simpsons and all other useless stuff that is in your head, if this information was in medicine, I'd be a surgeon, a heart surgeon, and I'll be probably one of the best in the world. But hey, I'm not. I'll never be. I gotta tell you a little story. It's funny because, like I said, I've worked in the movie thing all my life, and my dad died a year ago, and a few months, perhaps a year before he died, he was still telling me, "Yeah, you should go back to school and get a real job." No, man, I don't want to be a doctor. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for me. It's my life. Anyway, funny, and I love him to death. To death. Okay. We have 3 minutes left, guys. Okay, okay, okay. Let's move on. Yeah, so talk about this shot. Man, as a kid, can you imagine, like, what are they doing to this cute droid? Look at his face. You can actually see him. He's like screaming. He looks like a kid. He really looks like a kid. So, as a kid, you're watching like this baby kid droid being ripped apart in front of C3PO. It's like, oh my. Yeah, oh my, of course, man. Poor little droid. He actually looks like he could actually be 21B kid, like 21B sons. It's 21B son. He's a future he's a future doctor. Save him. Oh my god. Well, what a terrible shot, man. It's like he's ripping his legs and his arms off. Talk about terrible way to die. Well, he's not really dying because he's a robot, but you know what I mean. Love the fact that in the background you actually have pieces of a R2 unit on the back. The what's a astromech. There's actually a part of an astromech in the back. Like you know that he's been ripped. His head was ripped off or something. Anyway, like I said, uh, terrible place, but could be even worse. He's actually like a AD8 without his microphone on his face. I don't know if they used the same shot, the same robot, but he actually looks like a not a gate, but a 21B. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna finish on this one. Uh, and this is something that I've learned today. Uh, I don't know if you're able to see it, because if I zoom in, the quality is not going to be great. Let me try it. Let me put this like that. Let me see what we've got. Yeah, that's pretty good. Did you guys knew know or knew that Bib Fortuna actually have a girlfriend? Can you see next to him like there's a girl wearing something that looks like Leia's a slave outfit with the white hair, and it actually looks like she's always standing next to Bib Fortuna. And you can see here it's Celestia Scrum, but she's right there. Who the heck is that? I thought I knew everyone from Jabba's palace until I saw that picture today. So I was really, really, really surprised, and even now I'm wondering: is that Photoshop? Is it real? Is it really an actress that was on set that we've missed? Because there's no action figures of this character. I've never heard any canon story or comic book story about Bib Fortuna's girlfriend, but there she is. I don't know if it's his girlfriend or anything, but she's standing next to him. Two different scenes, two different places, and she's right there. And if I recall correctly, I would have to go check on Return of the Jedi copy of DVD, or perhaps on the I've got the laser disc version, which are the original release in widescreen. Perhaps you can actually see her in the background someplace, but these looks actually like promotional pictures. So I don't know if this girl is actually in the movie. So if you guys know who she is, or if you guys know her name or anything, let me know. I have no clue. I was really surprised to see that there was actually a girl next to him. So that was my big, again, see, 40 years later, on March 28th, 2023, like 40 years after I've seen that movie, I'm still learning stuff. That's why I love Star Wars. That's what I love what Lucas created. I love this universe. There's so much stuff to learn and to know. Okay, so part one is already done. We've been talking for an hour. I'm going to remove this. I'm going to put my face in your face. And I'm going to thank you guys for being around again this week. If you're watching this on YouTube or on Facebook and we're not live, again, thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. If you have any questions, send me a PM, send me a question on Yoda's workshop. I'll be happy to answer if you have any suggestions. Also, and I got one from Jim, I think. Thank you for being here, my friend. Christian, toujours le fun, man, de t'avoir. I'm having fun. I'm having fun doing this. This is the highlight of my week. It takes me a lot of time to prepare and make sure that everything is okay, but it's a highlight of my week. So I love doing this, and I'm not going to stop because this is not something that is hard for me to do. It's hard to how do you say it? It's hard for me to perform. And again, I'll talk more about my health issue one day. But I just love doing this. So thank you for being here. Merci d'avoir été là. La semaine prochaine, on va continuer un part 2 de Return of the Jedi. Si jamais on a quelque chose entre-temps qui arrive, on skippera une semaine, c'est pas grave. On va pas skipper une semaine, mais on fera un autre sujet puis on continuera plus tard. If something comes up, we'll continue a part 2 of Return of the Jedi another week. Don't worry. I'm ready for next week if we are doing part 2. So guys, thank you. Thank you very much. Again, may the Force be with you. And as I always say, be safe, be good, be wild, be you. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. And see you next time on another Vintage Kids. Bye tout le monde. Take care.